Before we begin, this episode includes personal discussions about infertility, pregnancy loss, and the LA fires. Tara Lipinski is a Saatva partner. The experiences she shares are her own personal stories, not medical or professional advice. If you or someone you know is struggling with infertility or pregnancy loss, resources are available through Resolve at resolve.org. Please listen with care.
Imagine knowing only perfection during one insanely pressure-packed 4-minute performance could determine the rest of your life. Now imagine you're just 15 years old. Welcome to the Superpower Bedcast. I'm Dave Briggs, and that was the situation facing young Tara Lipinski. She hops in bed to reflect on that moment and share what we can all learn from the challenges she's overcome since, including a heartbreaking infertility struggle and later losing her home in the Palisades fire. She also tells us the one singer Tara would most like to crash into. But we start with Tara Lipinski's most viral moment, and no, it's not what you nor even she would think.
Everyone is familiar with your iconic skate in 1998. Is it true or false your most viral moment ever online?
Oh, what is it?
True or false? Is it your most
is
viral moment?
It has to be, right?
It is not.
It is
I
not.
will tell you
Okay.
what is
Oh my
later
God.
in the show.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is
And
fun.
hopefully we can get you to reenact that.
Oh boy. Oh no. What
I'm
would
hoping.
it be?
Oh, now you're going to jog and it's a good tease for the audience.
Oh,
Okay, so
no.
I had a terrible night of sleep last night because when I travel, I don't sleep.
Were you not on a Saatva mattress?
I was not,
Yeah,
sadly.
I can do it.
It was not close. But I know you're kind of a pro. You did this traveling as a skater. You do it as a broadcaster. Give me and our audience some tips. How do we sleep on the road?
It's hard sometimes, but I am old now, so I bring
Old.
things. I
Doesn't
bring
reflect well on me. Thank you.
I bring things. I have my silk eye mask that I bring. I bring a little candle. You know, I have my app sometimes that I sleep to go to sleep. So I feel
Like a sound machine going? Okay.
Yeah.
You
And-
literally sleep in the mask. huh?
oh, I have to.
We have those.
I
Okay.
know. I use
Maybe
them.
I should try that. Maybe.
You don't do an eye mask.
I don't, it freaks me out a little bit to not be able to see what's going on around me. I'm a bit of a control freak.
Yeah, I mean, I like control too. So, but I'm telling you, it's a good feeling. I feel like
Okay.
it feels a little weighted. Like there's like something soothing
Okay.
about it.
Let's go through like your sleep story. Like, do you go to bed late or you go to bed early? What's the last thing you're doing in bed? Are you doom scrolling?
I am a morning person. And
You're one of those bubbly people?
yeah, I wake up happy. I'm like, all right, let's go. 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever we need, let's go. Yeah, so I wake up early, which means I go to sleep very early. And now having a toddler, I am so physically exhausted that I put her to bed sometimes at 7 or 7:30, and I will just wander to my room, take my makeup off, and lay in bed, and we'll watch a show, and I'm in bed by 8:30.
Wow, you are quite the party animal.
I
as a
know,
mom.
I'm a lot of fun.
8:30. And so how important is sleep to you now?
Sleep has always been important to me. I just think, obviously for the health reasons, but it's something that I grew up as a young skater, a young athlete, where it was drilled into me that sleep is important. There was nothing, there was no like late nights just to have a late night. It was, you need 9 hours of sleep. Like I got 9 hours of sleep
solid
as an athlete my entire career. And so it was very important for me to have the schedule and the routine and go to bed at a certain time and then wake up and feel rested and recovered to skate every day. So I feel like that's never left me. So I'm always looking for the 9 hours, but I just don't get there.
I was going to be astounded
Yeah,
if you were
no.
getting 9.
No.
So let's get back to your sleep journey. And what happens when Tara doesn't get a good night's sleep?
I can rough it. I feel like I'm so used to it now. I think being a mom, that changed everything, where you just you don't sleep sometimes and you just have to keep going. But I'm not great if it's under 5. I struggle. I need
The horns come out. What can you
No,
not
I just
perform?
feel I think it goes back to like, no matter what, I remember how it always felt as an athlete to feel your physical best. And when I'm not feeling that, I'm very sensitive to it. Like I can feel it in my body and my mind. And I'm like, oh, like get me to a bed.
I cannot function
Yes.
without sleep. But last night was a bad one, so I'll try to get through this. So when you're 15 though, you're up at what, 4, 5 a.m.? I mean, I'm assuming figure skating is one of the most difficult because of the hours of the training.
So yes, I think with skating, skaters are used to being up early. But my years before going to the Olympics, I was at an amazing training center where they really catered to the skating program. So I had a normal hour of probably starting at like 7 a.m.
Okay.
Before that, we as a family had moved to Houston from the East Coast for my dad, who had a new job, and we were skating in a town that was not skater friendly. They just had no rinks, no training programs. So I skated at the Galleria, which is this
Giant mall.
in the middle of Houston. And during Christmas, they'd have a big Christmas tree in the middle of it. So my program would have a hole. But the worst part is the only time they had ice for me was at 3:30 a.m. So I would wake up at 3 and then go skate from 3:30 to 7:30 and then go to school. So those were very early hours. I did that for like 2 years, and then we were just like, we can't function like this.
How did you manage sleep at that point of your life?
Going to bed very early.
Because you knew it was that important to get sleep. I feel like we've all discovered this in recent years, but you knew it very early on.
Definitely. And I think like I said, I am very in tune with my body from, I think, being an athlete and just knowing what it feels like to be well rested and how ready you are physically, mentally, emotionally. And I find if I don't get sleep, I'm depleted in all those areas. And then when I try to accomplish whatever goal it is, I'm just not at my best. I'm not firing correctly.
Are you a napper?
No, I cannot nap. This is one of
you're
my
one of
sad.
those.
It's actually like a
makes it
very
so much
sore
harder.
subject for me. Like I want to be a napper
Yeah.
more than anything, and I can't do it.
That's
And
your
it's like,
dream,
that
to
is
be a
my
napper?
dream. It's to be a. I really think.
Why
I think it's
can't-
my dream.
why can't
It's
you
the
nap?
thing I want most.
What's the problem? Like, I mean, have you tried? Like,
I've tried, and now
you can do anything. You won a gold medal
No,
at
I
15.
cannot nap.
You can nap.
I cannot nap, and I think now I have a mental block. Like I'd have to go to therapy for it. Like I think it's that bad. It's like I try it sometimes, and then I get so upset and so angry. And then if my husband naps and I can't do it, then I'm even angrier.
So what goes on? Like you lay down on the hamster wheel, it just won't stop, or what?
I don't know. I just can't fall asleep if it's a nap.
Oh, that is
It's awful.
difficult.
I mean, it was
Dare to
really
dream,
hard.
man. You can do this.
I want to, but I can't. Like everyone in my life knows this. I can't nap.
Wow. Do you snore? Do you talk in your sleep? Do you have any like quirky?
No, but I
things?
move a lot. I'm moving constanly. I think there's a lot of tossing and turning.
And so your husband stays on the other
Stays
side.
away.
There's no snuggling.
I mean, I like to snuggle, but I think like through the night, I find myself, I wake myself up. I'm like turning to each side. I'm like, oh, just
Very active dreamer,
yeah,
probably.
just go to sleep, Tara.
Okay. All right. So let's go back. You're 15, and I'm thinking about you when I'm watching the Ryder Cup the other day, because here are the best golfers on the planet that can hit a shot into the wrong fairway. They can hit a bystander. They can come back, par the hole, and win the tournament. Mm-hmm. You make the slightest mistake, it's it. You're done. Yeah. Everything you've trained for is gone. How do you handle that kind of pressure at any age, let alone 14, 15?
I don't think there's some secret answer to it. And I think it's just so difficult because, looking back, I was so young. I didn't have a lot of life experience. So in a way, I think that, yes, I was so young. Maybe I didn't feel the pressure as intensely as if I was older. But then on the flip side of that, I think I actually did because I didn't have life experience to sort of balance me out. For me, it was all or nothing, black or white. I either won or I lost. It was do or die, where I didn't think like, oh, if I lose this, it's okay. Like I have more in life to be grateful for. You're a kid and it's just so extreme. So I think for me, the pressure, I definitely struggled with it, trying to be a 15-year-old in this very adult sport and have all these expectations on me. But I think that that's what's so cool about figure skating and some Olympic sports like gymnastics. It's very similar. It's not like other sports where you have so many games to make up something and you have a 2-hour game. You have 4 minutes, and that determines your whole path.
Life in some regards.
Yeah, and one little mistake, you can't make any mistakes. So it is so high pressure, and I think that's why it's so fun for me. I love gymnastics, but it's because I feel like it's the same. Like they can't make a mistake. Like it's all on the line.
And in this case, 4 minutes did define the rest of your life.
It did. Like one mistake could have changed my entire life so completely.
What if?
Yeah,
Have
it would
you thought
never.
about it?
Yeah, it would never have been this.
You might have been doing something else entirely.
Correct. Like I know it would be so different. It would be so different.
What would you want to do other than nap?
Yeah, other than nap.
What's the one thing if you had fallen and taken a different turn in life? What would
I don't
Tara
know.
Lipinski be doing?
It's so hard to try to think that through because being 15, I still was so young.
Yeah.
That I didn't kind of think of what was next.
Well, we're happy you didn't fall.
Yeah.
So you're also dealing with the pressure of your family in 2 different parts of the country, and your training was the reason. How much did that add to your level of anxiety as a kid?
It definitely, like, you're aware of all of these things. Johnny Weir, my partner in crime, we talk about it all the time of like being so young and having, a great support system in our sport, whether it's the federation or your family, your coaches, but at the same time, you feel responsible for them. So it's like, for me, and thinking back to, being a young girl, my parents, like, skating is a very expensive sport, and they did everything they could to keep it going. They definitely didn't want me to be out of school. But they made that choice at a certain point because it was impossible to actually train and go to full-time school. Sure. So I just always had the thought in my mind, like, I have to, I want to succeed not only for myself, but for them.
Did you feel pressure? You turned pro in a sense to bring your family back together. That's a hell of a burden for a teenager.
Yeah, I think it was like a group decision. It was easier than I think most people think, just because at the time I sort of won everything that I wanted to win in the fashion that I wanted to. It's not like I had a bad skate and I was like, oh, I need to get that one back and stay in it. For me, I won nationals, worlds, Olympics, and had all these incredible moments that there wasn't anything really left for me emotionally that I needed. But at the same time, I think just life was hard, the way we were living, and it felt like almost a gift that I won the Olympics and that maybe we can have a different life now and not go back to that same routine.
And now you see these parents everywhere that are trying to raise the next Tara or D1 athlete, Olympic athlete. Are we pushing too hard as a society? Where do you draw the line as someone who did go through it, who did achieve all that?
Well, I think for me, I love sports in general, and just knowing that, I think looking back sort of on my life, I think being in a sport, even if I didn't win the Olympics, was really beneficial. Like, I love, the way that I sort of view life and work and career of just putting in the hard work, and I like the discipline, I like the routine. I think there's so many lessons you learn in sports that you can then apply to whatever you choose. So I feel like whether I won or not, I'm so glad that I was put into a sport and learned all of those, life lessons really early on.
But now that you are a parent, where does one draw the line between pushing and pushing and pushing and needing the kid to be the one?
Right. Well, I think it's also
that's a difficult balance for most parents.
Right. And I think it's probably case by case basis, right? And it's really about your kid's personality. Obviously, I was already like a type A obsessive, loved the routine.
You wanted to be out there at 3:30
I wanted to do it. And I think for me, I always say that, like, my parents gave me all the opportunities, and they put me in every sport when I was little, and I was pretty opinionated, and I would be like, I'm done, I don't like it, but skating was something that I actually had a passion for. So I think that if you're in a sport where there's a lot of pressure and expectation, as long as that's my advice, as long as you love it, that should balance it out a little bit.
Don't push if they're pushing back.
Yeah, if they're not actually actively loving what they do, then that's not a good fit.
You seem to have adjusted. So I always wonder what it would be like to be the best in the world at anything at 15 and wonder, oh my God, what do I do now? How do I ever top that? Like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone at, 10, or this kid from Adolescence who just won an Emmy at 15. What is your advice in handling that, the next chapter, and trying to either top that or reconciling the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. For me, I felt very lucky that it happened so early that I won an Olympic gold medal at 15, where it almost put me on track with other kids that were going to school or going off to college and figuring out what they wanted to do next. Where I think sometimes in Olympic sport, it depends, if it's a really niche Olympic sport that doesn't have a huge following and you're 28 years old or 30 years old and then retiring, that's got to really mess with your mind of like, what is next for me? Whereas I was able to have this natural turnover at that age. And I also was living at the height of figure skating's popularity. So I, again, was very lucky to have a smooth transition to the next phase. It's like a soft landing because I toured for many years with Scott Hamilton and Christy Yamaguchi. All these dreams that I had as a little girl, I was living out and working, making money, and, transitioning to different life stages easier.
Part of what made figure skating so big in that moment was, of course, Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Do you have a memory of that and what that was like seeing happen as a young figure skater?
I was so young, so it happened like
I want to say you were 14, 13.
No, I was 12. So it was the Olympic cycle before me when all of that happened, and I think because I was so young, I was never really ever in the same arenas or the same atmosphere as, the senior level skaters. But obviously it rippled not only through our sport, but through pop culture, and it made the sport insanely popular. I mean, we were rivaling football numbers at certain points. That Olympics was the highest rated moment in Olympic history. It's crazy to think about what happened. So obviously such an unfortunate event, but it definitely changed our sport.
No question. You say sports, and I agree that it helps you for later in life, and it probably helped you get through the biggest challenge of your life, which was your fertility struggle. And I know as an athlete, you actually define that through some stats, through some numbers that talk about your struggles. What are those?
Yeah, I mean, over the 5 years, I had a unexplained infertility diagnosis between, for my husband and I. We just really never could figure it out. And so we just kept going. And it was 24 surgeries in those 5 years, 8 retrievals, 6 failed transfers, 4 miscarriages. It was countless failure. And then the only thing they could tell us was maybe there was something with my immune system that was rejecting my husband's DNA. So we chose surrogacy at a point where I was just, rock bottom, and there was really no way to try again. Emotionally, physically, any of it. We were just so tired. Yeah.
Those are the numbers. What were some of the emotions going through all that?
It's really specific emotions that I think it's hard to relay, because unless you walk that path, unless you go through it, it really is hard to explain, because I probably stepping into that would have thought, oh, like, that's sad, it's awful, I'll get through it, this is how I'll feel. And I felt it was so much more extreme than I ever thought. And, obviously I had, experienced a lot of pressure and disappointment and failure in my life through sport. But this was next level. And, just the pain of wanting something so badly, like building a family, and not being able to figure it out, not being able to work hard enough, not being able to do all the things that you were taught to do, especially as an athlete.
Yeah. You perform, you get rewarded. In this case, that just wasn't the case. No. And you decided to share this battle with the public. Why and how did that help?
Well, I didn't for 5 years, and it was very lonely and isolating, and really hard to work through these times. I was, I'm a broadcaster, so I'm on air and running back, and hiding and doing shots and it was, painful to go through miscarriages while I'm working on live television and not be able to tell anyone. So I eventually though just felt, it's time. It was almost like I had nothing to lose anymore. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm probably not going to succeed. I thought at the time, which we did, which was great. But I just thought, why not open up about it and, talk about a subject that I think still is a little taboo and not spoken enough about, amongst families and women and people.
It isn't. And 1 in 9 women have fertility problems in the United States, and 1 in 6 outside the United States. So what would be your message to someone that is going through it and is feeling the way you were?
Just that all of those emotions are so normal and you're not crazy, and that there are a lot of people experiencing it. And I just think if, looking back on my journey, it's so hard to say, what was the hardest part? Was it the physical? Was it the financial? Was it the emotional? Your relationship with your partner, or just really the fear of it never working, I think is the hardest part. And it's like, how do you tell someone, how to fix that feeling? So you just have to feel it and hope that you have like a really good support system. And I hope the conversation amongst infertility or miscarriage or loss just becomes, more common, because then I think people will, obviously feel less alone.
So you get through it. You get this blessing, Georgie, and then adversity hits again, and the LA fires, and your home is virtually lost. That is like everyone's greatest fear, is losing their home in a fire. Did it put things in perspective for you? Take me back to the moment that you saw your neighborhood
burning.
Going up in flames.
Like I said, the fertility journey was really the worst thing I've ever experienced. So it's awful, but it was a different kind of loss and grief and pain. And so I think I, had been through so much over the last 5 years. I really, again, used those tools to, it's just a different type of grief. But, we never thought that was going to happen that day. We left with barely anything, which I wish, now looking back, I took things, because I didn't. And it was silly.
Is there one thing that you just wish you could?
Just so much. It's interesting. I took my Olympic skates randomly. And, as a skater, you were always, sometimes people have more than one pair of skates that they take, but I never did. And a lot of skaters don't. So you always were very protective of you knew where your skates were at all times. So I feel like it was like a habit that I ran and just got my skates. And I took our dog's ashes, and I took some handbags. And
okay, I'm glad you admitted it. I think my wife,
I took
other
some
than the photo albums, would get her bags.
I took some handbags. But it was just random, and I was just going through the motions. But then, sitting there in our neighborhood, obviously we started talking with one another, and people are looking on their Ring cameras, and I'm getting photos of all the trees on the side of my house on fire. And you're just like, oh my gosh, my house is going to burn down. And everything in it is just sitting there. It's a wild feeling. And it's less about the material. Obviously there's so much, mementos and things like that. But you start to realize it's more just about your life feeling so destabilized all of a sudden, because, I just would feel sad. Like, oh, I drove past that Starbucks that burnt down, and that gas station is where I'd make my right. And I'd see the kids walking down the street to school. Like, all of that is gone. And that is almost the hardest part to understand, that it's just that's not there. Like, that part of your life is not there anymore.
And you don't know if you'll ever be back.
I don't know if we'll ever go back. And there's just so much, everything and we were in the sort of the epicenter of it. So we have damage obviously to our house, and, we just don't know how severe it is to
Boy, I
stay.
hope the Palisades is rebuilt. It might be the most beautiful part of this country. All right, enough of the adversity, right? You've had enough.
Well, and
can just the life just give you a break? Like, you've gone through.
But you know what?
Feel that way?
I say that, but yes and no, because there's been things, but especially with the fire, it made me realize, I'm so lucky because we're able to, we have the resources to find a rental and move on. There are so many people in the Palisades, in Altadena, and just think about all the fires that are happening that may not be publicized in the same way, that are not in that same position. And I think about them daily because the news cycle goes on and you
we
forget
move
about,
on, yeah.
But there are so many people. And I mean, truthfully, all natural disasters, it's opened up my perspective to what people are going through, and especially people that don't have insurance, don't have the means to start over, and how devastating it is. So for me, it's,
Giving you perspective.
It's given me perspective. And like, I don't look at it as something so awful that I went through, because I feel so lucky that we have, the ability to move on.
That's some pretty awesome perspective. All right. So 2026 Milano Cortina. I know you're very jacked about this Team USA. Why?
Well, I think skating is going to just sort of have this renaissance this year, because there's been maybe a drought for 2 decades. I don't even know how long. I'd have to go back and look at the exact years, but we haven't really had that many American skaters primed to win an Olympic gold medal. And you have 4 disciplines in figure skating: dance, pairs, men's and women's. And I think there's a possibility that out of the 3, there could be American gold medals, which is just very exciting. And you have talent like Ilya Malinin, who is something out of, a superhero like comic book. I'm like, who are you? I don't even know how you're doing this. I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime on the ice. And I think there's a chance that he may leave the sport at some point and we'll never see it again. It's that special. I don't even know if it's
quad god.
This is the quad god.
What is, because I know you made famous the loop triple loop. Put in perspective this quad and how unusual it is.
Well, it's 4 revolutions. And what he does, though, is he does a quad axel, which is 4.5 revolutions. And you look back to, there was a Japanese skater, Yuzuru Hanyu, who won back-to-back Olympic medals and is, regarded as one of the best skaters of all time. He was just genius, and he wanted to land the quad axel, and for years was trying. We'd watch him and it just never came close. And I mean, he came close, but never in the way that Ilya is. It's like he could do it in his sleep. And this talent is so raw, and his natural ability to jump and turn in the air is so impressive. So he does all of the quads. He stacks them in his program and puts them in combinations, and it's outrageous.
It's LeBron. It's Tom Brady.
When people
Aaron Judge. Things we've never seen before.
Yeah, when people tune in, it's sort of that, like when you watch Simone Biles, I'm lucky I get to watch her. Like, she is one of the greatest and will be for all time. That's the same with Ilya. You're watching it's like a spectacle. Wow. Yeah.
You're back with Johnny Weir, I think your best friend, right? What's the weirdest situation you've ever found yourself in?
Oh, we have been in every situation. We went to the Sochi Olympics in 2014 as the B team, and then we had really great ratings, and we came home and we sort of got a promotion. And from that moment, we've had the strangest, work life together, because we just show up anywhere. They're like, come to the Super Bowl. Okay. Kentucky Derby, the National Dog Show. We hosted a wedding cake show, last week we were in Scotland, we did Traders, then we went back and did a travel show. We just sort of do a jack of all trades, and it makes 0 sense, but it makes all the sense in the world. So we just take any opportunity.
Kentucky Derby, dog show, wedding
cake show. It's
you're a package deal.
I mean, yes.
I believe he even played a role in your infertility journey, if I recall.
He did. He would give me shots. He was. Obviously, I told him everything, but he was such a anchor for me, and always has been. I mean, we've been through so much together. Through the years. I mean, it's over a decade now. So think of all the things that go on in your life simultaneously while you're working. We, as best friends, kind of do both together. We go on air and we put on our show, and then come home and we sit on the bed like this afterwards and talk about our life problems. Okay,
so LA 2028, right here, just a few miles away. If there was a sport you could compete in,
Gymnastics
would be it, because that's
I feel like
sister sport.
Yeah, it's sort of the sister sport, but for me, it's always seemed so fun. The beam and the vault and all these different things. As a skater, we just get the ice. They have all this apparatus.
And so, would your favorite Olympic athlete, other than yourself, be whom?
I mean, there's so many that I look back on, you know, whether in my sport of skating, but also, I mean, someone like Simone Biles, watching her and also her journey, the mental health journey, and really, I think just, you know, breaking, again, another taboo subject that needed to be talked about, you know, even the best in the world, you know, they're going through things. It's normal. It's hard.
Would you like to be in the booth in 28 for gymnastics if you had one sport?
Wouldn't that be fun? Johnny and I always say it would be really fun to do rhythmic gymnastics.
Okay, NBC.
You know what I mean? I feel like that would be like a perfect one for us.
We've planted the seed. Okay, couple of rapid fire questions. We're going to take you back to your most viral moment ever.
Will you tell me
it
what
is
it is?
Not your gold medal skate.
What could it be?
What could it be?
I literally have no idea.
Let me ask you this. What would be your karaoke song or your lip sync song? If you had to sing karaoke.
But see, I'm a terrible singer, so it can't be me singing. There's no way. Where would it be?
It is your lip sync battle.
Oh, lip sync. Okay, so I'm not singing.
Holla back, holla back, girl,
really?
I believe.
No
It
way.
is very close, but is a few 100,000 more than your gold medal skate.
That's not true.
It is true.
What? Yeah, Johnny and I did that show together,
That's
and it was
surprising
so
to you, isn't it?
funny.
It was quite a performance.
Oh, my-
You did not sing, but you rocked
I also
it.
there was 2 performances there. I did like a rap, I think.
Holla Back Girl is your most viral video of all time. So good luck topping that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
What would be your karaoke song if you had to sing?
If I had to sing. I don't
Everybody has to be forced on a karaoke stage at one point.
No, you have no. But my voice is.
That
I'm
bad.
tone deaf, I think, and it's so bad. It's like I can't sing.
Oh, so not even in the shower, not in the car.
No, I mean
Your
I'll
husband's
sing. I'll sing in the car, but you know I look over and it's like
your
my
karaoke
friends,
song is no song.
no song. My friends are like, you gotta be quiet.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's that bad.
It's that bad. They're like, stop.
One celebrity you could skate with. In a way of saying your celebrity crush would be, you could do a duet with.
Dave Matthews. I love Dave Matthews, and like he's the only person that I need to meet. I met him, but I'm a big Dave Matthews fan.
So a duet.
Yeah, I feel like that would be perfect because I always said I wanted to skate to Dave Matthews. I never did back in the day, and you know.
What song would it be? Crash and Timmy.
I mean,
think
those
would
are
be
great,
pretty
but I like You and Me. You and Me would be a great one to skate to. 41. I mean, there's so many.
Okay, we have got You Need to Nap. You
Nap.
need to skate with Dave Matthews. And you need to be in the booth for gymnastics.
I mean,
in LA 2028.
Bucket list items.
We've got
right
your
there.
to-do list.
Great.
Thank you for being in bed with us.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate it.
This was so fun.